Hey, I just had two things to ask/say. Are you going to do a Q&A before Christmas? It's been so long, so I wondered if you had dropped them completely for 2011.
Merry Christmas, BioPG rules!
Once again, it's that magical time of year where everybody gets into the holiday spirit, and I, for one, have also gotten into a little bit of the holiday spirit. There we go. Anyways, I was a little upset about not being able to do a Manga Man Christmas special since the unanimous voting for the previous video I posted up on which review you wanted, part 2 of Umineko or a Christmas special, and I might do a little review, like a little something for Christmas. And I'm still working on Umineko. I'm trying to get the script panned out, which is taking me a little while with all the other schoolwork that I have to do. So, but Mare is definitely on its way soon, so be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, I believe a few of you have been waiting for another Manga Man Q&A. And so let's start off with our first question. Our first question comes from, you guessed it, BioPG Rules. And he writes, or she writes, I don't know what gender it is, for next time, do you think that the anime changes of Whitebeard getting a second hole burned into him instead of losing half his head were necessary considering how dark Whitebeard's death, which did not get changed to make it softer, were? That's a very good question. And please ignore the fact that I'm wearing an entirely different shirt. This comes into mind a lot of the censorship things that happens when a manga is turned into an anime series. Naturally, the manga is always going to be more graphic, although in this case it is rather interesting the choice that they decided upon. Instead of having half his head frickin' blow up, have another second hole in his chest. Even though that didn't really change the fact that his death was very dark and very graphic. But I'm thinking what their probably thought process was on this was that it'd probably be even more graphic if half his head was frickin' blown off. And I often wondered how the heck Whitebeard was still talking even after half his head was blown up. But then again, that just shows how awesome he is. Other than that, I don't know what reason there would be to have a second hole in his chest. But either way, that is pretty much overkill on Whitebeard. Considering how you obviously have read Monster Hunter or Rage now, what do you think of it, and do you wish it had continued? Yeah, to tell you the truth, I haven't actually read it yet. That scene that you saw in the last Q&A, that was just me being funny. But I do intend to read it, and when I do, I will definitely give my opinion on it in a separate video. But it does bring up an interesting point in that there are a lot of manga series that haven't been continued, and I really think that isn't something... Well, let me try to get my words together here. Alright. I'm never a fan of any artist or any creator director like not finishing what they started. I mean, if you start something, you might as well give it a satisfying ending. Now, I don't know if Monster Hunter or Rage gave a satisfying ending or not. Again, I haven't really read it yet. But there have been a lot of other manga series, like the NPC's favorite manga, Beat the Vandal Buster. He was so upset that that manga series got canceled. And I know that there are several of mine. I don't know if this manga series was just discontinued in the USA, but Kirohime, I haven't seen volume 15, and I know that the story should still be continuing on. And it's a frustrating thing because you get into these manga series and you want to see what happens at the end, but the artists don't do anything. They just give up. And that is not something that a good mangaka should ever do. Or anybody. Finish what you started, people, no matter how long it takes. Which of these organizations do you feel did their role the best, worst, and middle? Now excuse me while I butcher the Japanese language. Shichibukai, Arrancar, and Akatsuki. Well, in thinking about the organizations that are in the top three anime, Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, what I like to think about first, well, let's first talk about Bleach and the Arrancar. Now, for one thing, I say that they are possibly the worst organization because, well, there doesn't seem to be any real structure to how these people function. I mean, sure, there's a power structure and whatnot, but that can only go so far. If, like, a whole bunch of the Arrancar, like, gang up on another one, like, they could be taken out if they just teamed up with each other. And I have to say that they are rather disorganized because they have one single figurehead that doesn't seem to care about what happens to any of his members or any of the people that is under him. And that's really poor management if you really think about it. The one from One Piece, let me look at this name here again. Chichibukai. I think that they have a little bit more organization on their part. However, it is a very, very thin line between like being an outlaw pirate and helping out the military and whatnot. And that line can easily be crossed, as we've seen a lot of the warlords do so in the past. I mean, the only thing that is really holding this organization together is the fact that the warlords don't want to have the military, the Navy, breathing down their necks and pursuing them. That's the only thing that is holding this whole organization together. And really, any type of contract that deals with an individual being forced to subjugate because they don't want Big Brother or Big Sister looking down on them isn't really that stable of an organization. Organizations need to be built on trust, which this one unfortunately doesn't. Lastly, I like to think that the Akatsuki from Naruto Shippuden are actually the most organized out of the entire group of organizations, because they have not only a power structure to them, but they also have like a genuine, like I like to think, kinsmanship. True, they're the cliques between certain members, and certain members don't really get along with each other as far as I have seen. But what little I have seen, I would have to say that they are pretty well organized. They have mission objectives. They never go out on it alone unless they are forced to. And really, they are quite resourceful with having several connections with some of the other villages, if I remember correctly. Though I am not sure, so don't quote me. But I think the Akatsuki are definitely the best organization out of all, because they have organization. They have, I think, good teamwork between the members. Sure, some of them don't get along, but when one member dies, it immediately goes up the ladder, and they do learn about it. You know, it's not just, oh, he died, well, boo-hoo. At least that's what I remember. Again, it's been a while, so I'm not sure. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the three organizations. What little thoughts I had about them. Our next question comes from Rosehard222, and she writes, "Can I stab Maria with a spork, please?" Well, considering that Maria is a fictional character, good luck with that. Although, if she were real, then I would say, yes, please do. It would make me happy. Our next question comes from Gundam Knight 100, and it writes, "Would you review Yu-Gi-Oh! GX the manga?" Dude, I got out of Yu-Gi-Oh! As soon as Yu-Gi-Oh! GX came around. I watched the entire first series, yes, every single season, but I don't really have that much of an agenda or a want to review the Yu-Gi-Oh! GX manga. I glanced over it once in a while in a Shonen Jump magazine, but if you think there's something there, I'll take a look at it. Other than that, no, I don't think I am going to. The next question comes from CyberDraco001, and it writes, "What video game series would you like to see get turned into an anime and get dubbed in English? For me, I would want to see a Spectrobes anime. Well, getting a video game turned into an anime is a little bit of a risky business because, well, depending on the video game that you choose, you're going to lose a lot of the aspects of it when it gets transferred into a anime. Now, video game series such as Metal Gear Solid, where it is completely, like, almost 95% of it is cutscenes, I could see that easily transformed into an anime series and English dub. Now there's such series such as Professor Layton, Phoenix Wright, but the one video game series that I would like to see get turned into an anime and dubbed in English would have to be Ghost Trick, Phantom Detective. Now, any of you that haven't played this little gem of a game, do. It is definitely a very fun game that Capcom has created right here. And the dubbed in English thing was an interesting thing that you brought up because I bring up Ghost Trick because one thing that, well, here's my thought about English dubs. An English dub, for me, the only way, I don't mind English dubs unless they are, well, completely terrible and whatnot. But I could watch an anime either in English or in Japanese. It depends on what voice actors are in it. If there's an English voice actor that I really like, then I'll watch that. If there's a Japanese voice actor that I really like, then I'll watch that. But what I love about English dubbing that Japanese dubbing can't do is the accents that they do. I just love hearing anime series or English dubs have like sometimes very ridiculous accents. The most popular choice would have to be everyone's favorite Hitalia, where that entire series is completely composed of accents. And believe me, it is better to watch Hitalia in English than it is in Japanese. Good luck trying to read all those subtitles. Oh my god, does that go by so fast. But what I would imagine for Phantom Detective Ghost Trick, I could imagine a lot of, a lot of Brooklyn actions going on in there. Yeah, a little bit of some Jersey. The good kind, not the bad, that involves shores. But one series that I'm a fan of that also has ridiculous accents that I just find hilarious is Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. And Jean, the French protagonist in the story, who, oh boy, I've heard some bad French accents, but Jean takes the cake in that regard, and it makes it more enjoyable, I think. So I would have to go with I would also have to go with Ghost Trick because it has a very interesting story that I really am intrigued about, and I always love a good detective story. I could choose like other things, like I know that a lot of the Tales of Symphonia games have gotten like anime releases. I know Fire Emblem got a very brief anime series that they should have continued, but what's in the past is in the past. And honestly, with Metal Gear Solid and Professor Layton and with Phoenix Wright, those are already pretty much anime series in and of themselves. So, well, there you go. Or the dad in Abanabashi Shopping Arcade, in which he is a Japanese man with a bad French accent, and in one episode, he adds on a bad Chinese accent. And now it's time for a Manga Man update / what I've been watching. As for what I've been watching, again, really nothing because I've been busy and whatnot. It's December, you know, with us college students, it's finals, and yeah. Anyways, with the Manga Man update, with everything that is going down here at college and whatnot, the Umineko review will have to possibly be postponed until after Christmas, unfortunately. But I do have good news in the fact that the Mayor review shall be finished before Christmas. I guarantee. As well as I've been mulling over this in my head for a while, and The Christmas spirit is just so much in me that I want to do a little something for Christmas. Even if it's not a full-blown review, I am going to have a little Manga Man short, if you will, review of a chapter from a manga series that is very dear to my heart. And maybe next year we will get into some more Kanakamatsu abominations. But until then, this is the Manga Man signing off and here to answer all your questions. So please leave some below.